The best way to get better is to practice. And in this example, we're going to work to create a background image using CSS so that we make our web pages look a little nicer. As always, these files are available for download using a link provided below in the description. We'll pause for about 5 seconds so you can pause this video to download that file if you haven't already, and then you can choose to follow along, or you can attempt it on your own and then check your answer at the end. All right, so let's get started. You'll notice my to-do says to go to my 08-01.css file. So let's go over there real quick. So we have a couple of to-dos. We're going to add a background image to the header. We're going to see which one in just a second. And then we're going to need to work with sizing and positioning to get the image where we want and how we want to look. So let's go ahead and find our header selector. It's down towards my bottom. Here we go. We have a background color of red. And I'm going to now, after that, put a rule for my background image. Needs to specify URL. Then I'm going to have quotes. Now, I'm in my CSS folder, so I need to go back a folder. So I'm going to use 2 dots, /. Then go into my images. And then you can see I list all my images here. I want gray waves on a vibrant red background. Select that real quick. Save it. Go to my HTML file, right-click, reveal in File Explorer. Open this up. You can see here's my image. I don't have that vibrant red background. It's now a much darker red, and I see a little bit of shading in here. But that's because my image is actually much, much bigger than the elements that I provided. In fact, just to show you, I'm going to come over here to my images, and you can see this image right here. And I'm only seeing a small little clip of it. So let's see what we can do to kind of adjust some of this. And come here, background. You're noticing I have things like position, repeat, size, etc. So I'm going to choose position. And this is going to be top and left, right. I'm going to say center, center. If I go back to my page, reload it, you notice that now it's centered. It's showing something kind of completely different. And that's okay. When I pull up background size, you notice I have a couple different options. And I can specify a size, or I can use things like contain and cover. Now, the nice thing about Visual Studio Code is it tells us what these values mean if it's a built-in value like contain and cover. So contain is going to scale my image while preserving my aspect ratio. That way, the height and the width both fit inside the background positioning area. My cover is going to also scale my image, going to preserve my aspect ratio, if possible, to the smallest size that contains is both height and width. So let's show you what contain looks like. Save this, go back to my browser, reload. Notice I see the whole image, but because the area that I have is long and skinny, it repeats my image over and over again. So instead of contain, we're going to do cover. And now notice that my image looks very similar, but I've got all my height and only enough width in order to make it visible for me. Now, you also notice that I do have a background for my header title, which is not what I really wanted. If you remember correctly, in my article header, you can come up here and find that, we chose the background color to be white. So I'm going to come over here, background image, I'm going to set it to none. And now this takes us back to what we had before. So you can see that it's very clear. So this is how we set our background image inside of CSS. In our next video, I'm going to look to show you how do we contain some of these different values into one shortcut, so it's just background, to make it easier to work with. So click on the video that's available on your screen now to see how to do that in CSS.